It's day 4 of our Normandy trip already, and it's coming to a close. Today we're visiting Beny-Sur-Mer Canadian Cemetery, Duvra radar station and Bayeux Cathedral. The weather's looking fantastic. The Beny-Sur-Mer Canadian War Cemetery contains predominantly Canadian soldiers killed during the early stages of the Battle of Normandy. The grave contains soldiers from the 3rd Canadian Division and 15 airmen killed during the Battle of Normandy. It also includes 3 British graves and 1 French grave, for a total of 2,048 markers. As is typical of war cemeteries in France, the grounds are beautifully landscaped and immaculately kept. Contained within the cemetery is a cross of sacrifice, a piece of architecture typical of memorials designed by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. We've headed on to Juno Beach, the second beach from the east, which took heavy casualties in the first wave, but by the end of the day succeeded in taking control of the area from defending German troops. The landing area, codenamed Juno Beach, was approximately 10 kilometres wide and stretched on either side of the small fishing port of Courcelles-sur-Mer. The initial hazard for the invaders at Juno, however, was not the German obstacles, but natural offshore reefs or shoals. These forced the assault waves to land later on D-Day morning than desired. The first assault wave landed at 7:55, 10 minutes past H-hour, and fully 3 hours after the optimum rising tide. This delay presented the invading Canadians with a difficult situation. The beach obstacles were already partially submerged and the engineers were unable to clear paths to the beach. The landing craft were therefore forced to feel their way in, and the mines took a heavy toll. As the troops waded ashore, there was little fire at first, mainly because the German gun positions did not aim out to sea, but were set along the length of the coastline. As the Canadian soldiers worked their way through the obstacles and came into the killing zones, the first wave took dreadful casualties. The duplex drive tanks, nicknamed Donald Duck tanks, were a type of amphibious swimming tank developed by the British during the Second World War. The phrase is mostly used for the duplex drive variant of the M4 Sherman medium tank that was used by the Western Allies during and after the Normandy landings in June 1944. DD tanks worked by erecting a flotation screen around the tank, which enabled it to float and had two propellers powered by the tank's engine to drive them in the water. The DD tanks are one of the many specialised assault vehicles, collectively known as Hobart's Funnies, devised to support the planned invasion of Europe. Installed in the former German detection station, the Duvra Radar Museum presents in the period bunkers the history of the site and of the radar. It is the only site in France presenting one of the 5 examples in the world of the Würzburg radar. The Radar Museum is the only site on the D-Day landing beaches to discover this little-known aspect of the Second World War and the decisive importance it had in the course of the conflict. The radar station held 238 men and initially managed to hold off all their attacks with the help of their 6 50 and 75mm anti-tank guns, 7 20 and 37mm flak guns, 1 mortar and about 20 machine guns. The strong point was also protected by barbed wire and a minefield. On the 17th of June, 400 men from the British 41st Royal Marine Commando, supported by the tanks of 22nd Dragoon Company, finally captured the position after a short battle at the cost of 12 tanks and a few killed and wounded. The last stop of the day is Bayeux Cathedral, which houses the Bayeux Tapestry. It's the most amazing building with stained glass windows and fantastic architecture. Tomorrow is our final day, sadly, and the trip is coming to an end far too soon.